Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Cory Connors. This is a first for this show. We have a guest who is from Milan, Italy. Her name is Lara Botta. She's the VP of Botta Packaging, Business Development and Innovation Manager. How are you?
I am very well and very excited to be here, Cory.
Good.
Finally, I get to meet you.
Ciao, ciao. Yes, right. Thank you so much for taking some time. I know we connected on LinkedIn and I'm just really excited to have an international guest. This is very exciting.
Well, am I the first one? I like
No,
it.
my friend Sean Drew is from South Africa. So
okay.
But and
That's quite far too.
a few from England, but yeah, you're the first in Italy. How's that?
Okay, I like that.
Okay. You're famous in Italy now, for sure. So can you tell us about your background a little bit? How did you get into this sustainable packaging world?
Sure. It's a long story, actually, because I come from a completely different background. I have worked in the pharmaceutical multinational company between Switzerland and UK for about 10 years before I came back to Italy. So decided to come back. Had my career was already in the pharmaceutical business. However, we had a family business in corrugated cardboard boxes, and Dad wanted to know what I wanted to do when I became a woman. And I actually had a different career, but saying no was difficult. So I said, okay, in between jobs, I'll try, so that when I say no, because this was what I thought was going to happen, then it's an informed decision. So here I come in 15-20 years ago into the family firm, and I get ecstatic about the perfume of paper, of printed paper.
Yes.
The fact of being in a small medium enterprise, whereas I was in a multinational before. So I never looked back since then.
Well, obviously you're doing a great job.
But I can tell you a little bit about how the company started off, which is a nice story, I think.
I would love to hear that.
My grandmother in 1947 who decided to leave her job, her stable job, and she had 4 kids, and to feed them all was a little bit complicated. So she decided to do more. And so she went in her cellar and started making boxes and going around Milan trying to sell them. And that's how it all started. So she's like a startupper of a different epoch, a different era. And I'd like to think that some of her DNA passed through. But yeah, a woman in 1947 after the war. Yeah, not bad.
That's very impressive. Your grandma was an entrepreneur before that word was a thing. Amazing.
Probably, yeah, just about.
Wonderful.
Yeah. But from there to getting into sustainable packaging. So what we used to do was just corrugated cardboard boxes and manufacturing. We started looking outside the box and thinking outside the box. So the idea was getting into innovation, trying to do things differently as they had always been done. And we knew the facts, so that we knew that customers were now ready to change brands if their packaging wasn't sustainable. We knew that this was a thing, but it still hadn't reached the big companies yet. So we read all this research and we knew there was something there. So we started thinking about the box was circular by nature. So we were already in a sustainable packaging realm. So we started looking inside the box. So fillers were usually plastic. Can we do something in paper? We looked outside the box. So tapes and document holders. How do we move the boxes? How are they optimized on pallets? And we created a pallet calculator to try and give us some improvements there because of empty space. We knew that empty space, by the way, was is still a $46 billion problem. So if somebody manages to avoid empty space in stock, in transport, then they really found something. So trying to investigate all these issues that were surrounding packaging from a sustainable viewpoint was what made us tick. So we started off with actually innovations on the web. So we decided we wanted to go into e-commerce. Let's try, but we didn't want to be just like any other e-commerce and produce boxes, put them in the warehouse, and then sell them as and when people requested them. That was already there. There was nothing new.
Right.
So we decided, okay, let's use our boxes as well as any other competitor that actually produces boxes and has them in their warehouse, and create a platform economy. So we didn't invent anything new. This platform economy existed in other sectors, but in the packaging sector is kind of something new. And this gave us great success, being mentioned as the top 100 European digital champions from Financial Times.
Wow.
So we kind of got excited by it. So we can do these things, and we can go and do things we've never done before. And it brings me to the frugal innovation concept. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I find it fascinating. Frugal innovation is a way of innovating. So it's a concept that comes from developing countries. So in India, they call it jugaad innovation. Basically, they don't have the same infrastructure as developed countries. They don't have the same resources or the same money and investments that developed countries have, but yet they still have to innovate and solve problems. So the way they do it is doing more with less. So trying to think outside the box, lateral thinking, and finding solutions anyway with what they have, which is usually little and not the same things that we have. And so we decided to translate this concept into small, medium enterprises. I'm not sure about the business market in the US, but in Italy, 97% of businesses are SMEs. So this is something that can be translated easily, and we need innovation from small and medium enterprises. Often these companies see obstacles to innovation, so they just do what they've always been done because they know that they can do that properly, and they've always been doing it exceptionally. And they don't have the same resources, they don't have the same investment that maybe big corporations have. So that obstacle, we tried with this concept to open it up. So there's no need to have big amounts of money. You just have to think differently, because if they manage to do it in developing countries with nothing much, then we should be able to do it too. So this kind of started off. And if you do a few changes, then you change perspective, you see things from a different angle, and you see new opportunities and new problems to solve. So this is how it kind of all started, I suppose. And we started having fun with it, and we continuously invent new things and try and innovate in the way that we can. We are a small medium enterprise, but we don't want to stop.
That's amazing. What year was your box plant founded?
1947.
So that with your grandma.
That's what we're talking. 70 years ago. Yeah.
And then what year did you guys start the online platform for all packaging?
It must be back in 2017.
And that's when you won the award.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Well,
very impressive. Can you tell us about?
We manage other awards in sustainable packaging too, actually. So
tell us about those.
Something new, we try and push a little further. I suppose the biggest mediatic success that we've had has been with one of our products, which is eco envelopes. These are envelopes that are padded with paper, corrugated paper. So instead of using bubble wrap within the envelopes, so the new technology may put the corrugated paper, so it's still protected. It's all paper, so it can be recycled in paper. And the brief we had was from a supermarket chain. So they had e-commerce and grocery deliveries, and they used bubble wrap for the most fragile of products. So bottles, soya sauce, or eggs. So they actually wrapped it further within the grocery packaging. But they didn't like it, but not only did the supermarkets not like it, but of course the consumers started not wanting plastic anymore and bubble wrap anymore. So the difficulty there was that you have to be sustainable with the material, with the supply chain, with how you package the goods in the grocery warehouses, and of course economic sustainability. So you have to look at all these points. So it sounds easy, but it's not. So it took lots of months of trial and error with different materials, different products, until we reached the final solution, which, since we're in video, I can show you. So this is it.
There it is.
And it's got the corrugated paper within, and now it's in everybody's households. Whoever does it's a national supermarket chain. So from from producing a commodity that reaches warehouses and business to business, so our product reaches households now, which is really exciting, and had an exceptional mediatic coverage, not only in Italy but throughout the world. We had Argentina, we had Russia, we had all sorts, because the idea was not only had you changed the packaging into something innovative, which is the paper padded, but you took something that was initially thought for a different sector and brought it into a different world, which again means that you don't really have to think the wheel again. You can go and look at other sectors, see if there's anything that could be useful, and tweak it in a way that can become useful for your own sector, trying to cut corners, make it smoother. And now time is an issue because big corporations have given themselves difficult goals and imminent goals. So time is really sensitive, and you need to reach new packaging materials, new packaging solutions as best as possible and as fast as possible.
Yeah, very well done. I haven't told you about this yet, but we have started a greenhouse page on Ubuntu. I saw you there this morning, and I saw that you have an eco sleeve.
I do. And
can you tell us about that? Because this is, I saw that and I thought, okay, this is very cool.
So this is paper, corrugated, which gets corrugated. And because it's of the way it's corrugated, it actually becomes elastic, which means that you can, it's a sleeve, so you can easily insert it in a bottle. It takes the shape of the bottle or flask, or so it goes in beauty or in wine or anything really that's fragile. And the idea is it replaces plastic again, because plastic, consumers don't want plastic. It's not difficult to recycle actually, but if it's stays in the environment, of course, there's an issue. So this not only got chosen in Ubuntu quite a while back, but also the Polytechnic University of Turin got it in its permanent exposure. What do you call it? Yeah. So the design department decided that it was worth a place in the museum.
Wow, that's wonderful. Congratulations. It is artwork. They are beautiful. That's something that people don't think about with packaging.
And yeah, true. You don't have to, it doesn't need to be complicated. It can be simple, but as long as it does the job, and that this does the job and it actually looks good as well. So we developed even more from the eco sleeve into the same concept of having the corrugated paper within. In a sleeve though, and the addition of this compared to the elastic paper cover is the fact that you can actually print. So if you had a cool bottle that you'd want to print outside of it, then you could use the EcoSleeve Plus, and it would also have a marketing impact, a communication impact on the shelves or wherever. If you go to duty frees and bottles need to be protected, then you can have your whole shelf printed with the bottle that's within it. So it's kind of original.
Very nice. Well done. The people listening won't be able to see this, but behind you, there's a really neat picture of a little corrugated family. And I love it. It's a little on the face of the box. You can see there's a little etched face. It's just really neat. I like that a lot.
Yes. And it's part of me. It's part of what I do every day. And the family is us, I suppose, the whole company together working. And I think it actually comes from Japan. They had a campaign where the people could create their best picture with the corrugated characters, and I thought this was quite cool. But the whole offices are full of these pictures. I like them a lot.
I love that. I'll have to get one. People always, they call me corrugated, so
yes, I love that name.
So tell us about the corrugated market or the packaging market over in Milan. Are you guys experiencing the same kind of unprecedented demand that we are here in the USA?
Yes, we are. And I think part of it is due to post-COVID. So the backlog that has occurred we had the companies shut down for a while. So the backlog has become substantial, but also not just that, of course, transport has increased tremendously from China, India. So plus sustainability has meant that paper has become the number one preferred choice. Plus, it's nearly Christmas, and I don't know in US, but here Christmas is definitely peak season. So prices have been going up, but there's so much demand that it's really complicated. Plus, I think people are scared of being without boxes because there's lots of delays. If you're without packaging, you can't ship, and if you can't ship, you have no revenues. So what do? They have double the amount of quantities. And so despite being a very good moment in terms of demand, I fear that it could level off with time. So once the warehouses are all full, then there may be a halt altogether, which means we need to be prepared that maybe this is not the standard that's going to be long term. So
that's a very interesting way to think about it. I haven't thought about the fact that people are overbuying out of fear. So eventually there'll be a surplus of custom packaging that's unnecessary, probably.
Or it will take longer to use. So at some point, the manufacturing in packaging business will see a decrease or even a hold. I'm not quite sure. There's both an increase in demand in a wide point of view. So paper is actually more demanded. E-commerce has increased a lot. So the need for single packaging has increased. But then again, the fact that there's so much increase in price, once it reaches retail, I'm not quite sure whether everybody will be willing or able to purchase at such a higher cost, because it's not only cardboard, it's everything that's increasing. So the retail price will have to shift too.
That's very unfortunate, but very true. Costs are changing quickly. So do you see, have you guys increased your capabilities of production, or are you just kind of doing the most that you can at what you have?
The most we can with what we have. And the problem is we don't get the paper we need. So if there's a shortage of paper, my machines need the paper. So maybe I need a full truck and it's expected for today, and only a half truck of paper arrives. What do you do? So it's a hard way of working, because everything needs to be checked and rechecked and changed and rechanged, which is something that usually just flows smoothly. Once you get the order in your system, it just flows. And now you have to pick it up numerous times because things change so drastically and quickly. But
it is a really fast change lately. It seems like we're just constantly pivoting and saying, oh, well, now this, and oh, what about this? Have you tried that idea?
And I think the fact of being a smaller company makes you a little bit more flexible, a little bit more reactive to the changes that occur.
Yes. Well, what do you think is the future? What do you think will continue to make corrugated as the sustainable packaging alternative, or do you see other things coming this way?
Certainly, corrugated paper will continue. Sustainability measures mean that we will try and improve on the weight, the models, the empty space that we want to avoid, but we can't do without packaging. If people want the products at their footstep or in the retail store, they need to be packaged somehow. So we'll never reach zero, but we can surely improve. One thing that I think should be improved is having e-commerce and transportation as is today means often, I don't know in the US, but surely in Italy, we need to reinforce the cardboard, reinforce the packaging tremendously, because the package gets treated badly. It gets thrown, I don't know how, but it gets damaged very easily. So when it's a single package in an e-commerce. So if we can improve somehow the way that these packages get treated within the delivery phase, which is probably 4 touch points at least, then that can make our life easier and decrease the weight of the packaging, decrease the thickness of the packaging, because you may need one flute instead of two, and that can be improved also. One thing that we've tried to, a project we've been looking into is life cycle assessments. So the fact that everybody's going into sustainability, or is talking, surely now talking about sustainability, means that you need to try and understand the difference between real sustainability and greenwashing.
Right.
And to try and do that, you need to find something numerical that can actually give you credibility and make sure that you are actually improving things, and you are improving in comparison to some other materials, some other products, some other competitor. So we looked into life cycle assessment. Of course, it's very time consuming as well as expensive, very thorough. So definitely a good solution, but not available to all. So if you go back to frugal innovation and the fact that not every small medium enterprise has the actual resources to undertake LCA studies for every product they make, we thought, well, why not try and create something that can be useful for everyone to get into this sustainability path, because it is a path. It's not something that today I'm not sustainable, tomorrow I'm sustainable. It's something that you slowly get into it, and you need to be drawn into this path and slowly improve yourself. So what we created is this LCA calculator, which wants to be a simplified, very simplified LCA calculator, which takes into consideration averages and numerous assumptions, just to let people play about with the different materials and how they impact on the environment. So if however many kilos of paper you use in a packaging, it will give you a result in CO2 emissions. If you use a different material, it can give you something else. So it kind of gets you into the gist of things and talk sustainable before you actually maybe entail in a real study within your own company. So that's
amazing.
Something we decided to put online, and yeah,
on your website. Is it?
Yes, it is.
It
is.
It's oh, that's amazing. Services. Is that no charge, or is that part of if
no
you're a
charge,
customer?
No charge. So yeah, people can have it for free. And if they want something more, of course, this can be provided. We also propose carbon compensation as a service. So carbon compensation is something that many companies do. Usually companies who are not as sustainable is not the right word, not as green, not as, lots of energy or lots of CO2 emissions. So they try and improve themselves by doing this compensation, because they can't eliminate the carbon emissions they have. So what we decided, we already have a product that is sustainable because it's circular by nature. So amongst others, it's a sustainable product, I suppose. But whoever wants to, but there's unavoidable CO2 emissions, even with a sustainable product. So producing something actually has CO2 emissions. So if you want, even that last mile can be compensated through a third party, and that compensation is provided as a service. So if you want to, you can actually invest that money into a project that is a sustainability project, can be environmental, social sustainability, anything that is in line with your corporation's message, I suppose. So that's something else we decided to offer to our customers. And again, it's another way of letting people play with sustainability, understand sustainability, and get the gist of it, and decide how to invest and make sure that they do something good environmentally.
You guys are really making big differences over there. Congratulations. Very good
job. We try.
Yeah.
And the pallet calculator, again, is something that we decided to do. Again, it's simple, it's free on our website. And the idea is, if you can optimize your pallet load, it's gonna cost less in terms of stocking, and it's gonna cost less in terms of transportation, and ultimately less pollution. Because if you can fit more stuff in the same truck, then of course there's less transport that needs to be done. Again, another idea and there's a lot more sophisticated tools out there, and they can be very expensive. We decided to create the algorithm and give it for free, and if it can help anyone, why not? The ultimate goal is being sustainable, all of us, because the planet is one and there's no planet B.
Yes. What is this program called?
It's called Palette Calculator. You can
Palette
find
Calculator.
it in the website. Yeah.
I will put a link to the website in the show notes so that everyone can find all these great tools that Lara has provided. Wow, just
Cool.
What a great show. You're amazing what you're doing. Thank you so much for your efforts in sustainable packaging. I hope more companies follow your lead. And well done. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And I like being with someone who is as excited as I am on sustainable packaging.
Good. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Landsberg Aurora. We appreciate you so much. And to anyone listening, please take a minute to review the show, and we'll keep making more. Thank you so much, Lara.
Thank you, Cory. Speak soon.